the nursery is looking amazing upstairs. I think before we go into the details of my nursery specifically, what's the process when deciding to start a nursery?
Some people, at the point at which they contact you, either have a complete blank space with nothing in it. Other people have already bought a cart like you had, and you've got some bits to work around.
Now, blues and pinks are quite old school, and thankfully you stayed very far away from it. So what advice would you give to people planning their nursery when it comes to colours and themes?
I think the days of pink nurseries for girls and blue nurseries for boys are sort of well and truly behind us. I think people are open to a lot more sort of ideas on neutral colours, monochromatic schemes. I'll come with ideas and I'll offer them, but at the end of the day, it's your space. You need to feel comfortable, and you guys need it to feel like this dream space for your first baby. It's such an emotional time.
Our nursery has some really unique, really incredible features. Could you talk me through some of them?
I started on sort of grey, white, mint, and then started to bring in some black to just sort of define the space a little bit more. So we started with animals because South African, and because your hubby's a vet, we thought that's a good starting point. I had seen some beautiful prints online, the little animals with the little hats on. I thought it was just something really cute and special. So the mobile we had custom made for you from a supplier locally called The Party, and we specifically chose some Australian animals for your mobile. Wardrobe actually was one of the key pieces that we really wanted to get into the room because everything's quite new and fresh and modern, and I just thought that something that looks a bit vintagey, kind of the quirky piece in the room, would really be nice.
I was always a bit scared of changing paint colors, adding wallpaper, all those sort of big design elements. How do you go about that decision?
I mean, I gave you a few wallpaper options and love the one that you chose. That wallpaper really sets the tone in the room because it's got all the colors and it's kind of bold and fun, but at the same time also quite subtle. For the paint on the walls, we've repainted the whole room. The paint is incredible. It's honestly the only thing I use. It's brilliant for kids' rooms. I use the satin finish that can be cleaned, so as he gets older and makes a mess on the wall, which he will do.
Lipstick and,
he will do. It can just be wiped clean.
Lighting is important in every room, regardless of whether it's for baby or not. Can you talk me through your lighting preferences in a nursery?
I remember you mentioning quite early on that you really like the idea of a hanging light, and what we've ended up using for you is something that really makes a huge impact visually, but is also really safe. It's little plastic bulbs, and the light inside is LED lights, so they don't really heat up. I'd also seen these amazing light fittings that are made from a bowler hat or a top hat somewhere before. Couldn't actually source them, so we ended up making a DIY for that. And then the lighting from the ceiling is just also quite a simple IKEA option, but you want the low lighting for when you're in the room with baby at night, but you also again need practical, fairly bright lighting.
If you had to give tips to people starting on the nursery project, what would they be?
Well, it's quite specific to each job. It's really the small styling bits that pull the room together, and that's where I feel we can be really helpful. And also just in practical applications as well. Yes, that can look great in a photograph, but you actually have to live with the space, and it's got to be safe and practical.
Roughly, what budget does someone need to consider when starting a nursery from scratch?
If you have nothing and you're buying everything from scratch, you'll probably be looking at nothing less than a sort of bare minimum of 15 to get yourself started.
Kath, I absolutely love my nursery and I'm so excited. It's exceeded any expectations we've had of the space. Thank you so much for all your effort.